Imagine a city built on water, a shimmering mirage in a lagoon. This is Venice, a place of impossible beauty, but also a city with a story as dramatic as its canals. How did a handful of refugees, hiding from invaders in a marsh, build one of the most powerful and wealthiest empires in history? And how did that empire, which once controlled the trade of the known world, eventually fade into the romantic sinking city we know today? Let's unravel the epic tale of the rise and fall of Venice. Our story begins in the 5th century, with the slow collapse of the Western Roman Empire. As barbarian tribes like the Goths and Huns swept across Italy, people from the mainland fled to the safest place they could find, the scattered marshy islands of a remote lagoon on the Adriatic coast. Life here was tough. The land was unstable, fresh water was scarce, and everything had to be built on wooden stilts, driven deep into the mud. But this isolation was their greatest strength. Protected by the treacherous waters of the lagoon, they were safe from the chaos engulfing the rest of Europe. These early Venetians were resourceful. They learned to harvest salt from the sea and became master fishermen. This is how they began trading with the mainland, swapping salt and fish for grain and wood. Slowly, these small island communities started to band together, forming a unified city that would one day be known as Venice. By the 9th century, Venice had established itself as a major player. Its unique position, nestled between the Byzantine Empire in the east and the fragmented kingdoms of the west, made it the perfect middleman. Venetian merchants, with their growing fleet of ships, began to dominate the trade routes of the Mediterranean. They sailed to Constantinople, to Alexandria, to the Levant, bringing back exotic goods that Europe craved. Spices like pepper and cloves, luxurious silks, precious gems, and perfumes. They weren't just traders, they were innovators. They developed new forms of credit, insurance, and bookkeeping, creating a sophisticated financial system that fueled their commercial empire. The city's government, a complex republic led by an elected leader called the Doge, was designed for one purpose: to support and protect its trade. This stability at a time when most of Europe was in feudal turmoil gave Venice a huge advantage. The heart of Venice's power was the arsenal. This wasn't just a shipyard. It was a massive, state-owned industrial complex, the largest in Europe at the time. Picture a sprawling city within a city, with thousands of workers, all dedicated to building ships. The arsenal was the world's first true assembly line. Prefabricated parts of ships, hulls, masts, rudders were made in different workshops and then brought together for rapid assembly as they moved down a canal. This incredible efficiency meant Venice could build a fully equipped war galley in a single day. This naval might allow Venice to protect its merchant fleets from pirates and rivals, and to project its power across the sea. The Venetian navy was legendary, a force to be reckoned with, and the arsenal was the engine that drove it. Venice's ambition reached its peak during the Fourth Crusade in 1204. Initially, Crusaders contracted Venice to transport them to Egypt, but when they couldn't pay the full amount, the shrewd Doge Enrico Dandolo proposed a deal. He diverted the entire crusade to first capture the rival port of Zara, and then, in a shocking turn of events, to sack the Christian city of Constantinople, the capital of the Byzantine Empire. This was a masterstroke of political and economic opportunism. Venice walked away with immense wealth, priceless relics, and crucial territories, including the island of Crete and a string of ports across the Greece. This act cemented Venice's control over the eastern Mediterranean and the lucrative trade routes to the Black Sea. For the next few centuries, Venice was the undisputed queen of the seas, the gateway between east and west. The Venetian motto was Navigar necessi, est, vivere, non est necessi. To sail is necessary, to live is not. It perfectly captured the city's spirit. With immense wealth pouring in from trade and conquest, Venice entered a spectacular golden age. The 15th and 16th centuries saw the city transform into a dazzling center of art, culture, and innovation. The grand palaces lining the Grand Canal, the magnificent St. Mark's Basilica glittering with gold mosaics, and the Doge's Palace were all built or embellished during this era, showcasing the Republic's power and prosperity. This was the city of Titian, Tintoretto, and Veronese, masters of the Venetian school of painting, renowned for their vibrant colors and dramatic compositions. It was a hub for printing, with presses producing books in Latin, Greek, and other languages, spreading knowledge across Europe. Venice was also famous for its lavish festivals like the Carnival of Venice, a period of wild celebration and masked anonymity before Lent. It was a city of spectacle, a magnet for artists, scholars, and travelers from all over the world who came to marvel at its riches and its unique way of life. But no empire lasts forever. The seeds of Venice's decline were sown at the very moment of its greatest triumph. In 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed across the Atlantic. And a few years later, Vasco da Gama sailed around Africa to India. These voyages opened up new all-water trade routes to the east, bypassing the Mediterranean and Venice's control. Suddenly, Atlantic powers like Portugal, Spain, and later England and the Netherlands could get spices and silks directly, cutting out the Venetian middlemen. Trade, the lifeblood of Venice, began to drain away from the Mediterranean and flow into the Atlantic. At the same time, the rising Ottoman Empire was expanding westward, challenging Venice's naval supremacy and capturing its overseas territories one by one. The long and costly wars with the Ottomans drained the Venetian treasury and manpower. Slowly but surely, the Republic's power waned. The once mighty trading empire became a regional Italian state. It tried to adapt, focusing more on its mainland territories and developing industries like glassmaking on the island of Murano. Venice settled into a long, graceful decline. It's becoming known less for its power and more for its pleasure-seeking lifestyle, its art, and its parties. It became the playground of Europe, a stop on the grand tour for wealthy young aristocrats. The end finally came in 1797. Napoleon Bonaparte, sweeping through Europe, marched into Venice without a fight. He dissolved the 1,000-year-old republic, looted its treasures, and handed the city over to Austria. The glorious history of the Venetian Republic was over. Today, Venice faces a new set of challenges, ones that threaten its very existence. The city is sinking. Constant rise of sea levels, a phenomenon known as acqua alta, floods St. Mark's Square and the city's streets with increasing frequency. The foundations of its ancient buildings are being eroded by the saltwater. Mass tourism, while providing income, also puts an incredible strain on the city's fragile infrastructure. Millions of visitors crowd its narrow alleyways and bridges each year, and giant cruise ships loom over its historic skyline, creating waves that damage the foundations of buildings. The very water that once protected Venice and made it rich now threatens to consume it. The city is in a constant battle against time and tide, with massive engineering projects underway to protect it. So the next time you see a picture of a gondola gliding down a Venetian canal, remember the incredible story behind it. This is not just a beautiful city. It's a testament to human ingenuity and resilience. It's the story of refugees who built an empire on water, of merchants who ruled the seas, of artists who captured its golden light, and of a city now fighting for its future. The rise and fall of Venice is a powerful reminder that even the greatest empires are subject to the tides of history. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through Venetian history. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our world. Let me know in the comments what other historical topics you'd like to explore.